Synthetic Identity Theft, AI's Role in Creating Fake People. Welcome back to School of Soul. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the ACI series, where we explore the rise of artificial criminal intelligence and how it's reshaping the world of crime. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most insidious consequences of AI's growing capabilities, synthetic identity theft. The ability to create a fake person, with a face, voice, history, and even a digital presence, has long been the realm of high-budget fraud operations and organized crime. But today, this process is no longer limited to those with access to massive resources. It's available to anyone with access to AI-powered tools, turning identity theft from a complex crime to an accessible mass-scale industry. What we're seeing now is the emergence of people who never existed, but who can still commit crimes, open accounts, and wreak havoc in the world of finance, law, and even healthcare. The rise of synthetic identity theft is no longer a theoretical concern. It's a growing crisis, one that is often undetectable by traditional systems built to verify authenticity. Let's start by understanding how AI can create these fake people. AI has made tremendous advancements in generating photorealistic faces using generative adversarial networks, GANs. Platforms like thispersondoesnotexist.com are able to produce lifelike images of people who do not exist, people who look like real, everyday individuals, with the kind of features that make them pass any visual inspection. The faces on these websites are indistinguishable from real human faces. But unlike real people, these faces come with no personal history, no background, no data trail. But it doesn't stop at faces. With advances in AI voice synthesis and deepfake technology, it's now possible to generate a complete digital persona. You can create a synthetic individual that not only has a face, but also a voice, trained on a few minutes of publicly available speech data, or even a single phone call. AI systems can replicate the cadence, intonation, and emotional range of the original speaker, making them sound real. Now, with this combination of synthetic face and voice, you have a fake person who can be seen and heard, allowing them to pass through the most rudimentary identity verification processes. But what truly accelerates this process is the ability to build a synthetic history for these fake people. Using AI, criminals can generate fake social media accounts, write social histories, and even produce digital footprints that appear legitimate. This synthetic history can be backed by fabricated documents, like fake driver's licenses, passports, and bank statements, often created with just a few minutes of input and the right AI tools. Together, these synthetic identities form a fully functional digital persona that can interact in the world, bypassing many of the Know Your Customer (KYC) systems designed to prevent fraud. The fraudsters behind this technology use these synthetic identities to open bank accounts, apply for loans, gain access to credit cards, and purchase goods using stolen or fabricated financial data. But the real danger lies in the scalability of these attacks. Traditional identity theft relied on stealing personal data, often through physical theft, data breaches, or social engineering. But now, you don't need someone's personal data to create a new identity. You can simply make one up, build it from scratch, and put it into play. Let's take a closer look at the real-world consequences of synthetic identity theft and why it's quickly becoming one of the most prevalent forms of fraud today. In 2023, U.S. banks reported a significant rise in synthetic identity fraud, particularly within fintech platforms and online financial services. This isn't just a fringe issue, it's mainstream. Synthetic identities are now being used to bypass traditional identity verification systems like KYC, Know Your Customer, and AML, anti-money laundering, which were designed to prevent fraudulent transactions and money laundering. But these systems weren't built with AI-generated identities in mind. The problem is compounded by the fact that synthetic identities don't have a paper trail. When a criminal uses someone's stolen identity to commit fraud, there's usually a path of data, including real-world personal records, financial histories, and legal documents. But when a synthetic identity is used, the digital footprints are manufactured from scratch, making them incredibly difficult to trace. The fraudsters don't need to rely on stolen data. They simply create the data. These synthetic individuals don't have social security numbers, tax histories, or credit scores to investigate. They exist only digitally, making detection and recovery incredibly challenging for financial institutions. One of the most dangerous aspects of synthetic identity theft is the speed at which it's spreading. Previously, creating a fake identity required a considerable amount of effort and resources. But now, with access to AI tools, this process has become fast, efficient, and scalable. A criminal can generate hundreds or thousands of fake identities at once, each with a unique face, a voice, a social media history, and the ability to pass KYC checks on financial platforms. This results in a massive volume of fraud, all stemming from identities that simply don't exist in the real world. Banks and financial institutions are already feeling the strain. With so many AI-generated accounts being opened, they're facing unprecedented losses. Credit card companies, for example, report a sharp increase in accounts being opened and run up with large debts, all under fake names. When those accounts go into default, the banks have no one to go after because there's no real person behind the debt. The identity is synthetic, and the criminal is untraceable. But it's not just banks and fintech companies that are being impacted. Healthcare fraud is also on the rise, with synthetic identities being used to access medical services, prescriptions, and even insurance benefits. Healthcare systems typically rely on traditional forms of verification, but synthetic identities can easily slip through. A synthetic patient with a fake health record can go in for medical procedures, receive prescriptions for controlled substances, or exploit healthcare benefits, all without ever leaving a legitimate paper trail. The ramifications of this kind of fraud are staggering, with public health systems and insurance companies bearing the financial burden. Let's consider an example from the world of consumer credit. In recent years, a growing number of individuals have used synthetic identities to apply for loans or open credit accounts. These synthetic identities are typically created by combining real data, such as someone's social security number, which may have been stolen from a data breach, with AI-generated details, such as a fake name, address, and birth date. The result is a fictitious person with all the characteristics of a legitimate consumer, allowing fraudsters to access loans, credit cards, and other forms of credit. This tactic has been particularly prevalent among criminals targeting fintech platforms, which are often more vulnerable to synthetic identity theft due to their reliance on AI for verification. Traditional credit card companies and banks have more established fraud detection systems, but fintech platforms may not have the same level of scrutiny. The digital nature of fintech makes it easier to create and use synthetic identities quickly, bypassing conventional fraud checks and expanding the market for bad actors. The issue of synthetic identity theft is not just about financial loss, it's about the breakdown of trust. When an entire digital persona can be fabricated, what happens to our confidence in online systems? If anyone can create a synthetic identity that passes all verification checks, how can we trust that the people we interact with online are who they say they are? The very foundation of the digital economy relies on the belief that people are who they claim to be, and synthetic identities erode that foundation. Now, let's look at the technology behind this surge in synthetic identity theft. As we discussed, thispersondoesnotexist.com is just one example of how AI can generate highly convincing fake faces. But the technology doesn't stop there. More advanced tools allow fraudsters to create fake documents, fake social media accounts, and fake backgrounds. Using machine learning, AI can simulate entire life histories, pulling data from various sources and combining it into a cohesive, believable narrative. For example, AI can create a social media presence for a synthetic identity, using publicly available data to mimic real-life behaviors, posting regularly, commenting on popular topics, and creating a backstory that fits within social norms. This digital footprint can be leveraged to open bank accounts, apply for loans, or even gain access to high-security areas like healthcare services. By combining these AI-generated images, voices, and histories, synthetic identities can be infinitely scalable, meaning criminals can create a whole new wave of fraud with little effort. This ability to create fake people on demand is one of the most dangerous aspects of this technology. With AI, it's possible to generate millions of synthetic identities, each one appearing real enough to slip through conventional fraud detection systems. But the broader impact is felt on a societal scale. When these synthetic identities are used in large numbers, they start to create a fake economy, one where real people's data is devalued and criminals operate without risk of exposure. We're seeing the early signs of this now, and if left unchecked, it could have catastrophic consequences. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones, the replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans, the merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, The rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans. The slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities. Algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies. Citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans. Emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning. Your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech. Intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender. Fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.